All right, following Sengoku Gaming's first victory here on the stage, we are hearing from Juan. I know there was such a strong reaction to winning the game against Thundertalk Gaming yesterday. How do you feel now having a series victory under your belt?
昨日のTT 戦は残念な結果になりましたが、今回初めての勝利を飾ることができてどんな気持ちですか？
素直にめちゃくちゃ嬉しいです。はい。
I'm honestly really happy about this.
You sounded happy on the stage for sure. It was an interesting series to watch. I know that you had the role swap coming out of the Baron lane. What can you tell me about the role swap and how it impacts the way that you have to approach the game from there?
いやもうすごいステージ上ですごい楽しそうにしてましたねと。バロンレーンのスワップがあったと思いますが、その戦略みたいなのはどういうふうに考えてたんですか？
特には考えてなくて、自分たちがスワップに対応できるよう日々練習しているので、それも効いてきたのかなって思いますね。
We were prepared for any swaps in our usual scrims and practices, so I thought we did very well on that.
Yeah, and both of your teams have very aggressive styles going for early game plays. How do you think that you compared stylistically to Ibro Gaming?
2つのチームはとてもアグレッシブなプレースタイルがあったと思いますけれども、そこに対してどういうふうに対応できましたか？
事前に昨日戦った相手はすごい策略を練ってる戦い方だったんですけど、今回のイーブロゲーミングの方はですね、集団戦を主に置いてるっていうチームなので、それはもう事前に話し合って練りながら戦いましょうっていう感じでしましたね。はい。
Yeah, yesterday with TT, they have a lot of strategy in their hands, so we analyze that. But for today, we knew that they have a lot of group fights going on, so we had tactics for that.
So much team fighting, and you have an interesting team dynamic. You know, a couple players with the Arena of Valor experience, mixture of languages. What is it like communicating as a team when there is that heavy team fighting going on?
チームの戦国チームの中で結構特殊なチーム構成があると思ってますと、AOV の選手だったりとか言語もいろんな言語があると思うんですが、その中でどういうふうにコミュニケーション取ってますか？
韓国語、日本語、英語、3カ国語で基本的にはやってるんですけど、みんな分かりやすいね。基本は英語ですけど、英語5割、韓国語3割、日本語2割みたいな感じじゃないですかね。はい。
Yeah, we have a mixture of languages going on in our communication. We have somewhat of Korean, somewhat Japanese, and somewhat of English. Maybe 50% English and the rest in half-half between Korean and Japanese.
It all sounds exciting from an audience perspective. Thank you so much for stopping by for the interview.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。Thank you.
More Horizon Cup to come. Back to Digon and friends.
Thank you very much, Gabby. As we look ahead to our next match, be sure to check out the Team Queso fan-voted battle anthem, El Señor de la Noche by Don Omar, along with the rest of the teams competing at the Horizon Cup on the official Horizon Cup playlist on Spotify. Now, Queso is going up against Team Secret, who looked really good yesterday, specifically Azar's impressive performance against Ibro Gaming.
Yeah, this is it has been an incredible showing from Team Secret. I think they looked very solid. It felt like, you know, they didn't really need the assistance of Trebor anymore to set up their lanes. They were winning every single lane, mid, bottom, top, everything, and it looked very solid.
Yeah, he looked good, and he wasn't the only superhero on that one. He got a lot of help there from Tatsurii in the mid lane, but you gotta wonder now, he's facing a big test as he takes on Acolyte in the top side of the map, Rocky.
Yeah, he is facing a much stronger top laner now, and didn't look very consistent in the previous series. He had pop-off games, but he was a little bit coin flippy. Sometimes he did well, sometimes he didn't. Against Acolyte, you're gonna have to have consistency. So I am wondering a little bit if Team Secret are gonna put him on weak side and try to play around bot lane more.
Yeah, well, with such an emphasis on Baron laners, plus what each team favors beyond that solo lane, I imagine this matchup will have unique things to look out for in the draft here.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like, this is going to be an Azar versus Acolyte, just as Iraqi has mentioned. I mean, when we look at Azar and Acolyte, I think Darius will be a contested pick. I mean, when we look at Azar during the Summer Super Cup, Azar had a 100% win rate before the quarterfinals up against Cerberus, but he hasn't exactly picked up the champion since then during the C championships. So he has been currently defaulting to a lot of the Fiora. And on the other side of the spectrum, Acolyte had a standout performance on the Darius. He was massive. He's able to deal with 1v2 situations and contribute to a lot of the team fights with kills.
Well, one of the champions that are going to be contested here is in the Dragon lane, Varus Iraqi.
Yeah, I think when speaking about important picks for the series, I'm keeping my eyes on Varus. 3 of Team Secret's 4 wins in day 1 and 2 have been with Varus. I feel it's a bit undervalued by other teams and instead should be pick or ban champion pretty much every draft. Regardless, Team Secret are showing they're confident with the pick and are more than capable of playing around it well. I expect the champion to be a big factor in this series, and Queso will need to have an answer if they don't ban it. I will add though, Varus is really popular in the EU meta, and if there's any team that should know how to play against Varus, it should be Queso.
All right, and there's another pick, one that really popped off of that last one, Riku.
Yeah, something that Queso has to definitely watch out for is, Tatsurii, the #1 SCA Katarina. He had a crazy kata game yesterday. He was even able to make his own kills without the assistance of his team. And a big chunk of that is that, no one can really punish him with reliable CC. So he was free reign, he just goes for it and spins to win. So while Team Queso doesn't have to exactly build or ban against it, when Team Secret is on red side, they'll just have to keep their guard up in their draft.
All right, you can see the draft is ready. And, Iraqi, this seems to be like one of the biggest tests. So I guess we'll see what happens here. Team Queso, Team Secret, both looking for supremacy here in this group. D-Man and Excandrel taking us to the action.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, we're straight back into it. And this honestly promises to be a cracking game. It really is a game for qualification. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, both these teams with a chance. Team Queso representing the European side, batting out the River Varus to start things off. The Twisted Fate being taken away. We saw Ruiz making use of that earlier on. But it does leave the Galio open. We'll see whether that manages to slip through the net, because that is a strong champion, along with the Zaira Khan, that Queso love to play.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be the Camille. So the Camille does get taken away. Kind of standard bans, but the Varus ban being banned out is somewhat surprising, I think it's safe to say. It has been strong throughout, but this, certainly to my mind, is the first time we're seeing it as a ban to go through, and there is the Galio ban that I did mention. I feel that would have been almost certainly picked, and of course that leaves Ziggs wide open. Now, will the Ziggs be picked by Ruiz, or will that be Ibu? I feel that probably will be an Ibu pick throughout there, along with Fiora.
Yeah, and I think the pickup is very interesting, because this is very much like what we've seen from Team Secret, copying that DKG style, where they have the Trebor Fiora in the jungle, and then they operate as like a secondary carry in the side lanes, taking down those side lane tier 1s. So this is very much like Team Secret jumping and taking the sort of the DKG style again and operating in the same way. But they obviously have given over the Ziggs to Team Queso. Now, by the way, that is more a Ruiz pick than an Ibu pick. We all have seen Ziggs flex the bot more often than not in this competition, but Ruiz is more of the Ziggs player on Team Queso.
The Darius being picked in there. We've seen Acolyte, certainly against the EBG, Ruiz with a big smile on his face. Obviously, we've seen Acolyte in the Darius Renekton setup before, both sides of it actually, but the Braum being left open, picked up, can be very strong. That does usually signify there will be a different AD carry with it rather than alongside the Ziggs.
Yeah, and I think, as I agree, it's not exactly the most insane bot lane combo. But however, you know, Braum picked for the more defensive part of this comp. Like, Braum picked to disengage away from the Fiora, disengage away from the Renekton. Not massively picked. I mean, you never pick Ziggs for a bot lane combo, right? You're picking Ziggs because he can 2v1, he can clear waves, and he unlocks that support to roam. Braum is a very good roaming support. That is going to be the Rakan, though, Hamez as well, playing that roaming captain-like support as well. So he's going to be able to just move away from that bot lane. The only thing is that Corki's not as strong in the 2v1, but he can clear waves easily, so they're probably pretty okay with that, especially post 5. Very easy for them to clear waves.
Does leave. I wonder if we're going to see Queso once again for Ibu. It is a champion he has favored towards the Draven. That I did not expect.
Draven is wild. That is a very, very interesting pick. It is high risk, high reward. It does combo nicely with the Braum if you can actually get that initial pick. Braum is actually a pretty good answer into Rakan as well. And the fact that they picked that and that's the Lee Sin for Andre.
How did we forget that was open?
I forgot
How has he
that
got
was
so
open.
far?
Yeah, I know. They forgot that was open for Andre. Last pick for him. You kick that Renekton or you kick that Rakan out of fights. It's a good disengage tool along with the Braum as well. But I'm going to be honest, it's high risk for Ibu.
Massively. I mean, for the whole team, I think. I feel this is maybe a high risk, maybe a high risk, high reward, who knows? But the Zed against the Ziggs in mid is a fight I certainly want to do for Ruiz.
Yeah, and that is going to be Tatsurii picking up the Zed as well. This is another really good pick for Tatsurii. And it's a very good way of putting pressure on a Ziggs and a Draven especially. But that's because Draven naturally gets himself into awkward positions in team fights. This is one of the problems with Draven. If you don't snowball with him, the way you play Draven and the way that you catch axes, you naturally put yourself in awkward positions in team fights, and Zed will prey on that. So again, high risk pick here for Ibu. We'll have to see if it works out. Obviously, we have that backup of a very strong late game AP carry in the form of the Ziggs. There's a lot of good tower taking potential here from Team Queso, but I think you can't look at this draft without thinking how risky this bot lane is, and you really feel like resources need to be drawn to the Dragon lane rather than the Baron lane this time round, which we've classically seen in games throughout the Horizon Cup.
Yeah, and obviously Team Secret, they've had a win and a loss so far. Looked a little lost against Thunder Talk, no doubt about it, but picked themselves up a win, whereas Queso obviously very successful against Ebro. Haven't seen, obviously, what's really to come. This, I feel, is the first real test for Queso in the tournament. This is one that could pivot how well they do, whether they get through the groups themselves. Team Secret coming to this one, I would say, as the favorites from the Southeast Asia region. Yes, they weren't the #1 team, but they certainly are nothing to be sniffed at.
Well, I think this is going to be a great test, right, D-Man? This is going to be a test of whether Europe really has what it takes to compete with the big boys. I think that's the way we've got to frame this, because realistically, Team Secret coming from a very strong region. I know SBTC haven't had the best of times, but Team Secret have had some good performances here at the Horizon Cup. And so now it's the test about whether Europe actually has what it takes. Has Europe really leveled up to the point where they can maybe stand on a level with SEA and China and now even Korea too? This will be the test, this first game especially. And the fact that they're so confident to pick Draven here as well, D-Man, shows you that Team Queso are coming into this very bold, very brazen. They're not worried.
Yeah, and I like the Braum going with it as well. So, Ibu, we'll see what he can do here. This is going to take a little while to build up, I feel. Andre, we know he can do it. He's going to be very happy that he's got Lee Sin through here. And, of course, the Fiora jungle for Trebor is going to be an interesting test. We're going to see a lot relying, I feel, early on Ruiz. Basically surviving, I think, up until the ulti phase. He's going to be under a lot of pressure from Tatsurii. And it does look like Trebor also wants to try and help him out there.
Just trying to get a bit of pressure on the mid. But this is something that we see a lot from Fiora jungles, by the way. They start off on the Razor Beaks and then rotate up towards the red and maybe go for a full red side clear. Oh, that is not a good look if you're a Draven player. Did he just get caught in a grand entrance? He's going to have to back.
We didn't see what it started off, but certainly not the ideal yet, and having to back this early on is problematic. We know the Darius can put the pressure down early on against the Renekton. This is a pretty even battle overall. We've seen Acolyte doing very well on both champions, but against Azar will be certainly very different than against Hayes she was on the first day.
I think Acolyte as well is a Darius specialist, right? This is like one of his most played champions throughout the entire European Origin Cup series. We saw him on the first day on Darius. He had an absolutely insane performance. If you are looking for an answer into Renekton, you don't have a better Darius player from Europe to really be able to pivot this pick. But Azar has managed to freeze the wave in a very awkward spot right now. And given that the top Rift Herald is now being taken by Trebor, Acolyte is in an awkward spot. This is a really rough place for you to be as a Baron laner. And I think, unfortunately, just a bit of wave mismanagement. You can see Acolyte going to check whether a Fiora is nearby and doing that Rift Girl.
Yeah, I think he just caught sight of him as well, so realizing the vertical jungling coming out from both Andre as well, so both starting out each other's blue buff. Ibu putting a little bit of damage down there, getting the support that possibly needs, but yeah, I mean, this is a dangerous lane, I would say, because obviously we know that grand entrance can certainly work out very well, catch out the Draven, and then I mean, you can put the shield up as much as you like, but he's still going to take a lot of punishment before that happens, before he be able to move across and get that stand aside.
This is awful for Acolyte. Look at that huge wave that they've crashed top. And because the jungle has been split vertically right now, Trebor taking away that Gromp. This is so much experience.
What's Andre going to do? He tries to get away. The flash comes through. I think he might be able to escape here. Really good interception from Memorize there to keep him alive.
Oh, Acolyte, he knows he can't get away, so they're going to flash in on him.
Pulls them both in. You know what? He's happy to try and stand a bag. The fact that he managed to get the Decimate of both gave him that lifesteal that he maybe needs there. Azar also taking a turret hit on the way through, which means this engage will no longer happen. Back down the bot lane, though. Ibu, that's very aggressive to go in for that last hit there, trying to keep Chewy on his guard.
This is not looking good for Queso so far. Every lane under the thumb. Tatsurii obviously hasn't found much edge against Ruiz, but Acolyte down experience-wise massively compared to Azar right here because of how many minions were denied just because Trebor opened up that top side of the map. And that very, very awkward lane management from Acolyte early on meant that he was punished with the freeze. And then Memorized Nibu, they're getting out-traded by a Corki and a Rakan. When you're playing a Braum Draven and you're letting a Corki out-trade you, that's not a good look. And Draven right now, obviously built up stacks, hasn't died. That's the silver lining, but yeah.
They're switching lanes, so Ruiz is going to come down the bot here. I thought they were looking to try and set something up, but instead they're sending the Draven to the mid to try and keep him going in that side. Ruiz just going to be a pain on Hamez there and catch him with a bomb, but quickly answered. Tatsurii comes down, says, yeah, you're not going away from me that easily.
They've made this rotation to allow easy movement out of the mid lane to one of the key objectives on either side of the map. You can see that Tatsurii starts up this dragon. He's going to try and, by himself, stop this dragon from going down, or at least provide enough space for the rest of Team Secret to come and prevent this. You see he goes in.
Nice coverage there from Ibu. Does manage to get away from it. The smite came through, and it was the red team that picked it up. So Team Secret securing the dragon. Not what Queso were after. Can they get themselves a couple of kills? The package goes through from Chewy. Oh no, Acolyte not catching him there with the Decimate either, and he will have to back away. They got the Rift Herald as well. Everything went the way of Team Secret. So apologies. Queso did secure the dragon.
They did secure the dragon. That was a small win, I feel, D-Man, in what was a very unfortunate sequence of events. And it has been an unfortunate sequence of events for Team Queso all through this game. Their Draven lane has failed to materialize any major advantage. Tatsurii here had an absolute, this is the actual play you can see, Tatsurii jumps in onto Andre, knows his target is the best target for him to focus down. That package as well makes it very awkward for them. Great engage by Hamez. Absolutely ludicrous engage from Hamez. And Acolyte almost found his opportunity on Chewy there, but Chewy just able to get away with a flush too. Team Queso being outpaced both on a micro and a macro level right now, and unfortunately they are not living up to the might of this Southeast Asian team.
Yeah, so they tried to road straight. They saw it coming and they tried to set it up early. I think if they'd just taken the dragon down just a little a few seconds earlier, it would have turned in their favor. They've been very much ready for that one. That is an interesting gauge. Tatsuri going for it here. He's kind of baited Acolyte into it. Goes for the dunk. Has he got enough to finish it off? I'm not sure if he's got the tick. He has! He gets it. That is huge for Acolyte, who was suffering in the lane.
Yeah, he's still a little bit behind his opposition of Azar, about 600 gold, but you take the scraps when the table is being cleaned. That is a big, big win, at least for Acolyte for the time being. It helps accelerate that build just a little further. Hasn't yet finished up the Black Cleaver, but he has got the gargoyle enchant. I think Memorize might be dead.
He might well be. Gets the Glacial Fissure down. Can they turn this down? The Mega Inferno bomb comes down. That's going to be Trebor in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get caught out. The Draven should just one more team attack. No, not going to happen. Chewy will be picked up, though. And, well, Queso respond really nicely there. They also take themselves the bot lane turret. And Andre continues pushing. He's putting pressure. The jungler goes in. Oh, no, he's gone too deep. And Tatsurii comes out on top.
Andre, what were you doing, man? What was that? What was that, Andre? We don't talk about it. You know, those are the things that we just don't talk about. He didn't even have his kick available. It was a little overzealous, I'd say, from Andre on that tier 2 tower dive onto Tatsurii. And Tatsurii now has a little bit of a clean sweep to go for this bot lane tier 1. Might have given away another turret here. Do we have to look at this again, guys?
I don't understand why he committed for it. Like, you're never going to win.
Where did he even flash?
Yeah, he flashed, got the tower hit. I think he was trying to avoid the tower hit, got the tower hit.
But he flashed into tower range.
Yeah. That went very wrong, Andre.
It did not. It was not ideal.
By the way, just want to point out, Andre, probably the best jungler in Europe, just made that error. It happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us, mate. But he is somehow, despite being 0-2, actually ahead in gold of Fiora. So still keeping pace. Obviously, we are now looking for Ibu to cash in on his stacks. That will be a bit of a gold injection for Team Queso. Love this from Team Secret, though.
Run. Gets caught out. And challenge will get away from it. And, well, okay, just a couple of tower hits. The tower survived as well. We expected him to take that tower down. Now he's going to see him going in, and there is a dunk to finish off. And I tell you what, we were talking about getting Acolyte going. That kill that he's managed to get has helped him out no end. Memorize able to dash away from this one, still keep that tower alive.
Yeah, they're going to catch. I think Memorize might be the sacrificial lamb.
Oh, one tower, 2 tower, one more tower hit. Oh, he survives on nothing. Where's the help? Where's the Mega Inferno bomb? Anything onto Trebor would be enough, but it's not going to be the case, and Memorize falls.
They're going to get the Rift held up here. They won't be able to compete for the Infernal Dragon because the setup is already there for Team Secret. Oh, Ibu!
He gave the kill away!
He got it! He got it with the whirling blaze, and now they can't take it because that was their jungler.
Oh, Tatsurii tries to commit and go in for Ruiz, but it's not going to be enough. He gets away. The fight in the mid lane now kicking off as Ibu and Andre arrives there. This fight is living up to its expectation. We knew it was going to be a close one, and now the Inferno Drake should be going the way of Queso.
Abysmal early game from Team Queso, followed by an abysmal mid game from Team Secret. They're both making missteps and both teams punishing. You can see Acolyte, as you mentioned, man of the moment right now, tries to flash to get the final stack onto Azar, but will not be able to do it. And that is a double whammy of 2 really important objectives picked up for Team Queso.
They're committed. They're not going to work. They commit. They try and go with a package, but I'm not too sure that's what they wanted. The Rift Arrow gets thrown down and almost just sort of thrown to the wolves to buy themselves the time to escape. The Mega Inferno Bomb flashed out of by Hamez at the last second there. Oh my word, this game is living on a knife's edge right now. One big fight could turn it in either's favor.
Goodness gracious. Honestly, when the first 3 minutes of this game, 4 minutes of this game, I was thinking this is a Team Secret walkover. They're gonna just crush this. It's gonna be a very easy first victory for them. They made some uncharacteristic errors, and honestly, I'm gonna say Acolyte, despite having one of the Baron laner's worst nightmare start, as a Baron laner, I cannot think of a worse start. The enemy lane freezes against you at level 4, and then the enemy jungle vertical splits. Ruiz has to be a little careful here.
Yeah, they're trying to set up for it, but there is...
Ruiz?
Oh no, the face check, the wall goes down. He's going to get cooked the grand challenge. He does have Andre nearby, gets a good kick in there as well. Very good kick. Chewy's taken low, will get finished and punished. Can they continue to chase? No, I think they should back out of this one. So in the end, a 1-for-1.
You are seeing the unfortunate consequences of losing your mid lane tier 1 that allows the enemy to make those kind of aggressive plays in the jungle. But luckily, somehow with a great kick from Andre, they're able to recoup back. And that fight really encapsulates the story of the game for me. Team Secret take the first punch, and somehow Team Queso find another one. You can take a look here at the replay again. Nice kick straight onto the Sonic Wave. A huge amount of damage onto Chewy here, and it is again Whirling Death that picks it up for Evu, gets another stack in cash. He is now 1,000 gold ahead of Chewy on this Draven. So despite a absolutely terrible laning phase from Ibu, he's still making this Draven work.
And despite the fact Lee Sin is 0-2-2, he's at 1,500 gold up over his jungle counterpart Trebor, which is pretty incredible. Here comes Queso once again, the roaming stack looking to deliver. Acolyte also coming to join the party. And this is going to be a fight sort of just, I don't think there's really any reason to engage. There's not really an objective they're going to go for here. I'm confused as to why they're sort of feathering up, trying to get their prowess out and see if they can go for any fight. And realistically, they should back out, and they have backed out. You see Andre just quickly wave clear in the top and sort of backing away, being basically given that carry role almost now.
Acolyte for me has been the story of this game. Like, he despite having an absolutely abysmal laning phase, like I said, despite getting frozen, vertical jungle split, being down level 3 to level 5, he still found his way patiently back into the game. Many top laners would have felt frustrated and felt that they had to catch that wave under tower, and they had to somehow, you know, find a 2v1 outplay, otherwise the game was doomed for them. But Acolyte was patient, realized that his team would probably have his back, and he's worked his way back into the game slowly. He was at one point about 1,500 gold down on Azar, I think. But he's worked his way back in slowly, and he's now even footing and is providing that front line. He's gone for the dead man's plate route as well. Memorized. And when all that served to do, Hamez, was show that you have a ward there. Because you weren't getting a follow-up, that's for certain.
I mean, he did the basic attack and he sort of backed away, and I think he was just being baited by Memorize there, knowing that Andre was coming in to close the gap. But all the chest thumping aside, we finally get objectives that are worth fighting for, as the Cloud Drake will be coming up in just a second, as well as the top side. Tatsurii actually putting a lot of pressure down, so he's not in the fight for this one, which is why Queso are looking to try and get that engaged. Memorize desperate to find a good Glacial Fissure, really wants to get involved in this one, but they're just leaving. The inhibitor turret is getting beaten down by Tatsurii. They have to do something here. They've sent over the Draven. Ibu is there to try and deal with it, and that's a problem because he is important to help them get this Drake.
Yeah, they go for the engage.
Getting straight in there, it's going to be Hamez that gets in and out, but there's, again, without Ibu being here, they don't have that consistent damage to keep them alive. Ibu finally gets back to the party, and now Team Queso can turn this back in their favor.
And Tatsurii dead as well. I mean, I think they traded 1-for-1 with Acolyte at the end of the day there. So there's now a 3 versus 4 around the Dragon. They were very close to losing that inhibitor tower. I think they made the correct decision to put Acolyte back towards Tatsurii, otherwise they would have lost that inhibitor. Does look like there's going to be a mid lane shove coming out, but Team Queso do have really good wave clear in the form of that Ziggs. Ruiz has kind of gone under the radar this game, but he has slowly and silently been doing his job as the Ziggs. Somehow Team Queso keeping this game competitive, despite the fact that you have a 12.5k Zed on the enemy team. That is the majority of the gold lead. Let's take a look back at this fight here. So the Gargoyles gets procced, obviously, to sort of prevent as much damage as possible. Tatsurii jumps in, thinks he has the edge. Barrier comes through, and that is a beautiful flash. That would have not been a kill for Acolyte if he hadn't done that flash decimate. That would have been very, very rough for him, but he managed to make it work. And Team Queso, just little micro punches back and forth between some of the best players in their regions. Acolyte definitely doing Europe proud with his Darius right now.
Yeah, and as we approach the 15-minute mark, this is now crucial moments. Andre actually finding out Hamez here, can put some pressure on the support, take away that grand challenge opening, but does manage to get away. That's obviously the bonus of a Rakan. It is incredibly mobile. That ward not being swept out, so that's given a lot of coverage for Team Secret here to go looking for the engage, and that's what they go for. It's Ruiz they've caught out. The Ziggs is just going to get decimated. That's not what they needed, Team Secret. Now, Queso have got to be careful. They don't overcommit to this because it could mean a Baron very quickly for Secret.
Yeah, Secret definitely gearing up for that right now. They're going to clear out those wards. They are going to send down Tatsurii once more to the bottom side of the map here. He is that side lane split push threat. You can just see how many teams are now pushing towards that kind of split push presence of a single player or sometimes two players for the 1-3-1 to kind of be that threat in the side lanes. And Tatsurii is that player right now on his Z. Despite the scoreline not being particularly impressive, he has had it really... Oh, we're going in again.
Top lane. Oh, well, they're going in again, but Andre was actually looking to walk in. Tatsurii! That wasn't even close. Andre realizes he may well have triggered something he didn't want. He has got the GA up as well, so he can keep himself alive. But this is a problem now with that big top laner down. Hamez goes in, yet another great engage. Grand exchange worked out there, waiting for the Glacial Fissure from Memorize, but they don't have Acolyte. It's more of a delay tactic right now, and you can see this time Ruiz has had to go down bot just to keep them towers alive.
He had to, because otherwise Tatsurii was again taking more gold in favor of Team Secret. It is a 3k gold lead right now. Team Secret have now righted the ship a little bit. I think they were struggling in the team fights versus Team Queso. You've got to remember that Team Queso were categorically known as Team Fight Kingdom in Europe. That was the best part of their game, the way they function in these late game team fights. And Team Secret have been losing out a little bit in those smaller skirmishes and team fights right now. They are using Tatsurii's influence in the side lane to buy them this game. They're getting them all that gold, threatening those inhibitor towers, and you can see that as their game plan now. They're not interested in the full team fights. And I think Team Queso, without Andre, they have got an issue when it comes to forcing these engages, but they're going to start at the Baron.
Oh, not sure I agree with this one. They have zero vision down here at all, whereas Team Secret see everything. Hamez goes in, does get a great knock-up on there. The stasis comes in for Ibu. What can he do about it? He's decimated, he's gone, absolutely destroyed. Azar getting focused on, but look what comes around the backside. Tatsurii has arrived, and that is danger, danger, danger. Team Queso, as Tatsurii looks to clean up, nowhere there for them to go. And that will be a 3-for-1, and almost certainly the Baron for Secret.
Tatsurii comes in, he cleans up the dregs of the team fight, but Hamez was the real hero there. Another brilliant engage from him on this Rakan. Ibu caught out once more. Baron taken, and you can't help but feel just how strong Tatsurii is. No one can match him in the 1v1. This will be the nail in the coffin for Team K. So look at Hamez again. Just rounds them up like sheep in the middle of the team fight. Ibu forced to burn the stasis on top of Azar, who just waits for him to come out. And once Ibu is dead, the complete team fight is wiped up. It's completely split. You can see Ruiz absolutely killed off on the back line by Tatsurii, and Andre does his best there. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's a bit of a rough one here for Team Queso.
Yeah, absolutely. We know it was a risky comp to come through to start with. Acolyte trying to help out and do what he can, but now Tatsurii is just an unstoppable machine as he runs on through the team. And it is another 4-for-0. Team Secret are going to romp themselves down mid and bot.
They needed a much stronger engage, I think, Team K, so they relied on the Baron to make Team Secret come towards them, but Team Secret were happy to start at the 4v5 with that Renekton, and this is surely going to be the first game in the bag here for Team Secret.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Risky, no escape, nothing they can do, and this will be Team Secret dominating game number 1 in the end. We said around about 10-12 minutes in, it was on a knife's edge, and it really was. It could have gone either way, but just a couple of indecisions, and Team Secret really, really punished. The second Tatsurii got going, once you saw him take down Acolyte 1v1 without blinking an eye, you knew the game was done.
Yeah, especially that was a Gargoyles enchant Darius as well. You knew that was a rough spot to be in. I'm going to be honest, the Draven didn't really feel like it worked for me. That was a risk that Team Queso took in their first draft, and I don't really think it paid off for them. Maybe they felt that they needed that X factor to deal with such a strong team like Team Secret. But I'm going to be real with you, D-Man. As a European fanboy, clearly I'm biased towards my own region. I think I'm allowed to be. I think realistically, that was Team Secret making mistakes rather than Team Queso being the proactive team making the plays. I think Team Secret dropped the ball a bit in the mid game, but they were never really out of control in that game. And I think Team Secret were pretty much comfortable all the way through.
When you think of how strong it was at the start of the game for them as well, how tough it was for Acolyte, he did manage to work his way back in there. And I think he almost got gifted that kill by Tatsurii at one point, which gave them a glimmer of hope, but it was all just a glimmer. Let's get over to Digon and the gang back over on the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, D-Man. And Laban Pilipinas, Laban Team Secret. They're able to get themselves a win there. We'll start with the draft here, Rocky, because this was unique. There were a lot of crazy picks that came out specifically on the Team Queso side.
Yeah, I mean, right before the series started, we posed the question of whether Team Secret were going to keep confidence in Azar or if they were going to try to play away from him. They definitely stuck to their guns. They gave him the Renekton Fiora path toward top lane and gave him a huge lead in the early game. And what's really cool is that they did pick up Corki and Rakan, who are two of the best weak side bot laners, because it's so hard to create a wave to dive them under tower. And it's just a really impressive game plan going in.
Yeah, definitely. And Riku,
yeah, I want to touch
ahead,
a little
Riku.
bit on the
Riku.
draft. Draven has been a very common pick back in the summer season in the Philippines, and it's usually picked against, Kaisa lanes. And with that, I fully agree with Iraqi. It's like they wanted to fully dominate the lane, but they pulled back a little bit on this Braum to make sure that they have disengage. And yeah, it's exactly what we just saw. They weren't able to capitalize on the Draven, but still they managed to make it work, at least for some of the skirmishes in the early game fights.
They did. Think about how long it went Draven did before he died. He was able to cash on in. Iraqi, final point?
Now, I was just going to say, with the Draven, it was a little bit surprising to not see them go all in on the pick and pair him up with something like the Leona, the Alistar, or even the Janna that can allow him to play way more aggressive. That way they can gain leads and actually snowball him, because if you don't snowball the Draven and you get to 2 items equal between Draven and Corki, you're just going to get outscaled.
Well, one of the reasons why they got outscaled was the play from Tatsurii in the mid lane on the Zed, finding ways to be relevant here, Riku.
Yeah, I really like what Team Secret did with Tatsurii on their Zed. Once Team Secret saw that there's like 3 stasis enchants already under Ruiz, Andre, and Ibu, because it mitigates the death mark, they pressed the "it's time to split push" Tatsurii button, and that's exactly what they did. Tatsurii was just such a huge nuisance in the side lanes. Whoever you want to send down there, Tatsurii is still able to win the fight, even if it costs him his life. He had to deal with Andre before, he had to deal with Acolyte, and even had to deal with Ruiz on that Ziggs, and it was just so fun to watch. It's just absolutely insane the way that he even joins in the fight, especially when he comes in late. That means the stasis are gone. That means it's free reign for him to attach to the death mark, see if he can outplay, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and he definitely did that right here. You can see the focus on Ruiz, almost gets away and then tries to get all 3 here, throws the shuriken, tries to get the auto, and make sure he gets multiple flashes throughout. And one thing that you pointed out while we were talking here in the back, Iraqi, was the strategy beyond the early game here by Team Secret.
Yeah, so a little known fact about Team Secret is they actually don't have anyone in the form of a support staff. My current coach on Immortals is actually one of their previous, and I was talking to him about that. He was telling me that usually because of the lack of the support staff, they do seem lost, and I think we've seen a little bit of that in this tournament past the mid game, but not this game. Usually after the first set of objectives, they don't know what to do. And unlike this game, like I said, and Zed had an amazing game where he created a lot of pressure split pushing, and his team was patient just enough to give him the space and allow him the time to create a big threat.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the Herald and Dragon control that Team Secret put into play here in this game. And remember, it wasn't always just them getting there first. This one, they worked their way on through.
Yeah, I mean, this to me is like a page straight out of the Chinese playbook, right? Because they're taking Herald off screen and they still contest the Dragon 3v5, and due to the amazing Rakan initiation combined with the Corki package, they walk away with both, and then they get mid-tower right afterwards with the Herald.
So we spent a lot of time here speaking to Team Secret. What does Queso need to do to turn things around? Because the likelihood that they go with this type of aggressive, crazy draft is, it feels low. Riku, what do you think?
I think earlier it looked pretty solid with the Draven that they wanted to go for. They wanted to go for that full-on aggression. So perhaps 100% commit on what they want to do, and not that 50% fallback on with that disengage with the Braum. I want to see it again, actually.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see. Iraqi, what do you think?
Well, we did see the Varus ban come through, so it seems like Queso are deciding to just get rid of the pick rather than figure out a way to deal with it. I wonder if that's going to keep happening, because when you have to target ban something specific that you don't want to play against, you leave open other priority picks, and that was in the form of both Renekton and Fiora last game. So Queso, perhaps go back to the drawing board and figure out how to draft.
Well, again, this is a big one for both of them. They haven't been fully tested. I guess Queso hasn't been fully tested if we take a look at the way that Ebro has worked out. But the win here for Team Secret has one of our analysts feeling pretty good about the moves here. There it is. Yeah. All right, hey, Rocky, we got your moves. Now you get to judge Piku's moves here. What do you think?
Waiting for these to stop happening, because at this point I'm starting to feel very self-conscious.
No, you guys are doing great. Fantastic dancing partners are both of you, and I'm sure these two guys are pretty good at dancing with each other. We'll find out. D-Manic Scoundrel, take it away and get us into the game 2 dance.
Yeah, I'm not sure about dancing with each other, but
what do you
know,
mean, mate? What do you mean?
Kieran, let's go, mate. Let's go.
I can treat you to a waltz. That's your era, right?
Oh, I see. We'll do the tango if you like, mate. We're gonna get full down to it. But two teams that need to do the tango. Seamless segue, like, if I don't mind saying so myself, is Queso. They really need to step things up here. The Spaniards have a lot of work to do against Team Secret in a game that, honestly, it was slipping away from them from the very start, if we were to be honest. I think they did very well to sort of work their way back in the mid-game, but then the late game, they were just gone.
Yeah, I think the issue is that Tatsurii was too much of a monster. And whilst it was very easy to focus on Tatsurii, he was gifted a lot of solo lane experience and solo lane gold through the plates. It's also worth mentioning how much of a beast Hamez was in all of his engages that game. Like, the Rakan clearly vibes to the way that Hamez plays. And I think that was also a big influence, because he was able to set up fights and create enough time to allow Team Secret to effectively collapse.
Absolutely. So, let's see. This time around, of course, Team Secret switching over the sides. Of course, we'll see how the bans will go. I expect to see pretty similar bans, and we are indeed seeing that. A Twisted Fate straight away. Targeted at Ruiz. They'll probably go with the Galio as well. Now, I wonder, since the Rakan was such a key factor for Secret's engagements, whether Queso are going to try and get that or just simply ban it away.
It's a really good pick for Memorize. That's what's making me scratch my head, right? Because this is a really good pick for Memorized. Rakan Xayah was like the go-to picks for Ivu and Memorized all the way through the Origin series up until the finals, where they actually flexed out and picked some different champions in their roles. So I feel like that Rakan is definitely a focal point for both of these support players right now. The fact that they opted for the Braum early on, I guess they were using it for the disengage, kind of made sense. But I just love that they gave Tatsurii the final option and allowed him to go for something that was going to allow him to sort of flex in the 1v1 and go for the side lane split push pressure.
Yeah, the Draven was definitely a surprise, and honestly, I think we saw Xayah Rakan disappear because Senna was available, if you remember back to the Origin Series finals. But that pretty much living in ban land right now. The Fiora first pick has been favored by certainly the Asian scene, not as much by certainly Queso here. So we expect that to see. Could probably be on Trebor in the jungle.
I imagine it will be Trebor in the jungle. The Renekton is banned, though.
Lee Sin's available. Do they go with it again?
I mean, I love it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I love that for Memorized. It now means that you could go Xayah if you wanted to, but I don't think you need to pick up Xayah because Rakan is flexible and can go with many different AD carries in that dragon lane. Lee Sin is fine, but you don't need to pick it now, right? If you're expecting this Fiora to be jungle Fiora for Trebor, you don't need to pick up the Lee Sin. I might be thinking about either going for my dragon lane so I don't show too much. There you go. We're not showing too much here, and I do like the Varus. There's Iraqi's question answered. Do they just want to play around it, or actually they're going to just straight up pick it? So Ibu will be playing the Varus here.
They banned it out in the first game, if I'm not mistaken.
They did, yeah.
I believe they did, yeah. So the Lucian going to be the answer for Team Secret down that bot lane. Probably go with the Braum, maybe in there. A Gragas. Now, Gragas has been carrying a lot of bans for a long time, then kind of just been left in the ether. but finally being picked back up by Secret here.
And Secret's one of those teams that can truly flex Gragas across multiple roles. Like, they can play him support, they can play him Baron, they do play him jungle from time to time, but also they play him mid, which is not something that you see a decent amount of. But Ruiz says the gloves are off for Ruiz here. He needs to go back to what he knows best, and it is to the Diana.
Which surprises me, because Galio is left wide open. It does surprise me that maybe he didn't go with that. I mean, there's 3 champions that Ruiz will go to: Diana, Galio, or Ziggs in this case, but or Twisted Fate, actually. Right? So 4 maybe, yeah.
Or RE, right?
Yeah, I guess RE. Yeah, used to be banned against them quite a lot in the European scene, I guess, yeah.
Andre's gonna
I'll let him off. That's 5 champions.
Yeah. He's got some more. Yeah, it'll be the Graves pickup here for Andre, so he'll be taking that just to give himself some close-range brawling power, also some really good late-game presence from the jungle. Again, Andre has been kind of touted as the standout carry. Did not have the most excellent of games on the Lee Sin, and the Lee Sin will be going the way of Trebor. So that, well, obviously we know that Lee Sin can be flexed top, but there aren't many Baron laners that do take the Lee Sin. Leon from Rix being one of the main players that does do it, but he's not here. So I'm expecting this to be a Trebor pick in the jungle, and an Azar will be on the Fiora top, which now leaves that Baron lane pick wide open for Acolyte, which is very interesting that Team Queso are giving him the kind of the last pick priority, giving him the ability to look for a potential counter matchup. And it's a bit of a tough one, D-Man, because Fiora doesn't have many great counters in the Baron lane.
No, absolutely. And that's concerning. I mean, obviously, Renekton being banned out does mean it will be the Darius coming through for Acolyte once again. And we know it's a champion that he can absolutely play well. How's he going to handle this, though? Honestly, I really like both teams. I feel that, certainly for Queso, they've got a lot that they are comfortable on, obviously with a lot of options, but I do worry that Secret have got quite a lot of comfort picks in there, and that is a strong team fighting comp with a lot of pickability.
Yeah, I think for Team Queso, they have got a lot of engaged potential. So this time round, they actually have the proactivity, right? They have the Diana, they have the Varus ult, they have memorized one of his best champions, one of his most practiced champions. They can be a bit more proactive this time round. The one thing that I think they were struggling with in the previous game is that when Tatsurii was off split pushing by himself, they weren't able to actually, actively look for a fight because they didn't have the engaged potential. This time round, though, Team Secret, it won't be Tatsurii doing the split pushing. It will be Azar likely doing the split pushing. Tatsurii will be much more on mid lane wave clear duty and obviously looking to impact team fights. So you have to keep our eyes on that Baron side of the map, though. That will be the pivotal factor for me this game. I think if Azar can get rolling and Acolyte can struggle to deal with him, then we may be looking at another game where it is just Team Secret winning by pure side lane pressure.
Yeah, for Queso, obviously, we know what Ruiz can do on that Diana, and it works out well if you can get that split push working in his favor. So, for Queso, this is a must-win game. To lose to Team Secret here would certainly put their qualifications in doubt. Secret sort of that team on the bubble right now after seeing, obviously, Thunder Talk doing so well on day 1 and day 2. We're expecting them to be topping out the group. The question is, who joins them? Will it be Sengoku? Will it be Queso? Will it be Secret? At the moment, Ebro looking like they're not likely to be there with their losses. But this one for Queso, I feel, is a must-win. And they are 1-0 down.
Yeah, I really do believe the same here, D-Man. If you are a European fan, you want Queso to get this win because it would massively impact their chances of getting out of the group and keeping themselves alive in this series. Take it all the way to a game 3. I would love to see a game 3 as well. The 4-man, oh my word, it is the holy 4-man mid lane. And if you have been aware in any of the NA versus EU banter that we've had over the last few months, the holy 4-man mid lane was memed upon quite heavily, but Team Queso actually doing the 4-man mid lane here just to get that very first wave shove versus Team Secret.
Araki's been very much involved in a lot of that banter, that's for sure. His social media has been very active over the last few days from the European side, that's for sure, after the 4 starts for Tribe. But Queso, as we say, must-win game. A lot of comfort champions as well. You know, Ruiz against Tatsurii. I like the answer from Tatsurii. Clearly confident, and I think obviously realized that Trebor was nearby. This battle here, we'll see how this one plays out. Remember, Acolyte was under a lot of pressure early on in the lane phase last time out. Not quite going to be left on an island this time, though.
No, it is rough in the laning phase for the Darius, though. Fiora has a very strong matchup at this stage and realistically beats Darius at most stages of the game in the side lane too. So difficult for Acolyte. You can see that he's gone for the fleet footwork as well, just to make sure he can sustain as much as possible in this particular matchup. Hamez rotating up Trebor, looking for a blue side invade. Maybe looking to pick up that blue buff away from Andre. Acolyte taken so low. That is...
Barrier! Missed it! Is he going to be able to get away with it? Azar. Oh, Acolyte, he's going to stick around. Doesn't have any honey fruit to go back on, but he does manage to get himself the wave clear.
Yeah, that was very lucky, but that's a lot of resources by Azar burnt now on the Fiora, and Acolyte still has his flash available. Azar picks up
he stayed.
Yeah, he has to go, right? Trebor is looking for the engage. Should be able to find the kill here, I think.
Oh, he gets the kick, yeah. Well, as soon as he landed that kick, it was all over, and I thought he was going to back away. So Fuzzblood goes to Trebor, and things are looking solid once again for Secret. I got to be honest, I'm very impressed with Hamez, by the way, so far. He has been so confident in his plays. I think the fact that he just had that very good Rakan game has set him up nicely here for Gragas.
Yeah, I love the pressure that he's putting down onto Andre very early on here, just making it difficult for Andre to even farm his own jungle. And look, we've seen the replay here. Unfortunately, I just think Acolyte a little greedy. He saw the wave coming in. He was very low HP. It was a greedy play. This is why the draft just feels a bit awkward to me. They knew that it was very likely going to be Fiora once they saw the Lee Sin, so they had the pick. Darius doesn't have the best matchups, but then again, I feel a little sorry for Team Queso in that respect, that there aren't many good answers to Fiora in the Baron lane, and a lot of them had been taken away. The Renekton was gone. Camille's terrible as well. There really aren't that many great current Baron lane matchups, for Acolyte that would actually be useful in this team comp. And I think Darius probably was the best of the bad bunch, but as you can see, a confident Fiora player like Azar is going to just dominate you in this matchup.
But generally, when you do have one of those bad matchups, you just say, okay, well, we're just going to back it up with the jungler and sort of power our way through this. Speaking of powering their way through it, they are setting up for the Dragon at the moment. Acolyte trying to get as much farm as he humanly can to try and level out once again with Azar. We do see Queso stacking out. It is going to be the Rift Herald that they ordinarily would focus quite heavily on if they were on the blue side. But here on the red side, Drake tends to be their focus target. It looks like they want to set up for that. I can see that Ruiz is still down there at the moment, and it will be started out. I mean, it's an important one. It's the Infernal. They absolutely want it, and it looks like it's going to be a simple trade.
I think they need to commit a lot of resources to take this down quickly, though. This is one of the problems that we saw from them previously. That again, Team Secret.
Too late.
They're not committing enough resources to take this quickly. I think they're going to get away with it, but you could see Team Queso were posturing, or Team Secret were posturing to try and do something about it.
Great, getting Azar in his face there. Andre and Ruiz, that is a dangerous combo, so Secret need to respect this one, but obviously they did pick up the Rift Herald and making use of it to take down that top turret early.
And they have enough resources, Team Secret, on the bottom side of the map with Hamez and Azar, that they won't lose that bot lane tower in response. So it is here we go.
Committal. Hamez taken low, but not finished up. Ruiz goes for it. Doesn't really have the mana to back this up. He's gone in. Azar's going to turn it around. Gets one. Should be able to get a second. He can go clean up here. Azar with a massive play. Ibu in all sorts of trouble. The ward's not going to help out. And Azar gets himself the triple. That is a horror story for Europe.
Oh my goodness, Azar, absolutely huge outplay there on the Fiora. Let's have a look at the Axe replay of this one. You can see goes in onto Hamez. Hamez gets the damage reduction with his second ability and then buys enough time for Azar to pop the Grand Challenge. He riposts the ultimate from Ibu, flashes straight onto an overcommit from Andre, and then when you have a Fiora versus a Varus in the 1v1, we all know who wins that. This is disaster for Team Queso. They felt desperation to make a play on the bot side of the map because they lost that tier 1, and now it is unplayable for Acolyte. Absolutely unplayable. You know that when you have to commit to a second or even just a first item Bramble Vest, that you are having a bad time in this matchup. Azar is going to be able to put so much side lane pressure down, and this is going to be another repeat story, but instead of Tatsurii being the absolute devil, it is going to be Azar being
the full claps. They're all coming. Team Secret. Andre is sat waiting in the bush. Does he want to get involved? He has to get himself a big kick. Memorize comes in. It's working well for them. Chewy will fall. So they get themselves one, and they've turned this very well in their favor. Azar will get away, but they survive a 1-for-1. That's a trade that I didn't think they were going to get.
That was a good response, but again, it's like a small band-aid on a very large wound right now. Acolyte still went down. Chewy dropping as well. Really wanted to kill on Azar. He's the one that's got the big bounty. We'll see if Team Queso can again find their way back in the mid game here, but Team Secret, they're playing a much smoother game this time around. They're not giving away as many silly mistakes as they did previously. Let's take a look back at this Acolyte. The dive was set up. Obviously, Andre was in the wings, and they had no idea that he was there. Memorize comes through. It's a great little engage under the turret. And as you said, it was a nice pickup for Andre. Azar is able to get away with another lunge. But again, I think it was just the fact that Andre had come for a lane gank and he was waiting. And obviously, a 4v1 tower dive sounds a lot better than a 4v2/a 4v3. So Team Secret just weren't really aware of where Andre was. But a 1-for-1 is still an okay exit for Team Secret. They won't be as, unhappy with the outcome of the situation.
Absolutely. They still need a lot more to come from this. The gold slowly slipping in the favor of Secret, who just need this single game to make it a quick 2-0 in the series. Acolyte, oh man, he is on an edge right now. He's what, over 2,500 down, gold down in this, a full item down in this. He just needs to be living on the turret right now, and even that is a scary thing. Again, you can see the collapse is coming, but Memorized is there to try and help out once again. They get that ward down, it gives them the information that they require, and of course with the Drake popping in just 28 seconds, it's down for Secret to try and start setting themselves out here, start to flex their dominance effectively from this early lane phase and take control.
And Team Queso just know they have to fight around some of these next objectives. They still have a strong team fight. Oh, that is a big engage from Memorize, but
Hamez again. Yeah, it's Hamez focusing again, and we know how tanky Gragas is, even as a support, but it buys time to possibly flex onto this dragon here. And you can see they're just trying to zone out at the moment. Memorize taking incredibly low. He can't now get involved, and I think they're going to have to give that Drake up and maybe take the Rift Herald as the best they can get. It's the second objective.
That's what they're trying to do, but you see Team Secret are well aware of that fact, and they're not going to let them get away with it for free. Tatsurii is packing a massive punch on that Orianna right now. Trebor walks straight over. They want both. They're not going to let Team Secret or Team Queso get away with just a sneaky little objective under their nose, and they're going to go and take that for free. Ruiz doing his best here, but I think right now Team Queso is struggling to stay competitive.
Yeah, Acolyte had to go and get that top wave, so he's not close. He's still making his way down here. This Drake is going to fall pretty darn quickly. They've all walked straight over a ward, so the vision is not a problem right now. It's all on Memorize. Can he get that big engage? Look at Andre. He's almost down already. They do come in. Now they're going to go for the committal. Can they get the dragon down? No. That goes the way of Team Secret. Now who's going to get the kills? That's the question. Azar around the backside, getting the full challenge down. Memorize falls around, but Acolyte trying to do what he can. But Azar once again absolutely ruined him up. Oh, the stasis bait! Has he got it? Can he turn it around? No, can't land the move fall. Will be able to get away. Acolyte, has he got a dunk left available? Tries to get the pull back in! Azar surely will fall here. Yes, he will eventually. Oh, no! He still managed to get the kill in! Oh, believe what just happened! And Team Secret just taking what they want.
Oh my gosh, this is just a classic case of a Baron laner that is just so incredibly fed. Watch him go. Keep your eyes on Azar here. You can see there's a massive commit to the dragon, but Azar sees the backline is completely open. Ibu isolated. Great riposte right there. Ground challenge comes down. The healing is there as well. And now it is just clean up duty. He stays in that healing for as long as possible. Dives out of the moonfall. And then takes Ruiz under the tower. That sequence of events that you just saw on your screen. That was absolutely crazy right there.
And look at his manner, he's got what, enough for one ability maybe. Yeah, that's it.
He picks up the honey fruit.
Oh, his honey fruit was in it.
Yeah, he picks up the honey fruit right there. Just look at him. It's unbelievable. That is such a great play. Azar has been a beast this series. And I've got to be a bit worried for Team Queso right now. They look like they're technically trying things. Memorized again. Not on the. You're just seeing the difference.
Oh no!
Oh no! Well, Hamez finds it.
Ruiz tries to commit and get in there. Andre's kind of found in no man's land. They're going to commit. They get it now. Can they get Hamez down? They're juggling with absolutely no help. Well, they got to come. Hamez comes in. He's going to get the both. Ruiz tries to turn it around and has to just try and take what he can. Is there a wave to help him out? Yes, there is. And he will get away as he tries to get a cheeky swing onto Hamez. Oh man, I tell you what, while that was all happening, Team Secret did take down that middle inhibitor turret as well. So it is all in their favor. 7,000 gold and counting. Oh no, Ruiz, now you're in trouble. Hamez is coming, support or not. I don't think you're going to be able to turn this one around.
No, I think he's gonna back out though. I think realistically, we were focused on what was happening on the Baron side, but that was a huge blow for Team Queso in the middle with that Rift Herald push. Great play from Team Secret. And again, it's all about just this side approach. You can see here, that was a beautiful play by Hamez. I know we're focused so heavily on the mid lane. Our previous series, Tatsurii had all the focus. This time it's going to be obviously more focused towards Azar, but Hamez, for me, has been the series MVP. With some of these engages, with where he's been on the map, with his pure ability to game knowledge and where he needs to be influencing at all times, Hamez for me has been the standout player right now. His score might not reflect it, but I can absolutely guarantee you this man has been more influential than almost anyone on Team Secret the way the practice laid out. That is going to be a nice pick on the Trebor, but he will dive away with the little dash there. He should be very comfortable exiting.
Yeah, that's the problem though, right? They catch him unawares, naked in a bush, he still gets away, and that's really the goal differential now. It's building pretty strongly across all lanes. I would say the two mid laners actually the only the balance effectively in the force at the moment, but Acolyte has a long way to go here. Obviously we know that has a 9-1-0 on the Fiora. I think we're seeing why it has been a consistent ban.
What's so interesting to me is he has 0 assists. So every single kill that he's been involved with, he actually has taken the
Whatever
kill.
he touches, he destroys.
Yeah,
Simple as that. Speaking of destruction, Andre have to use the collateral damage to keep them at bay right now. As Team Secret start to take control of Queso's jungle. The ward coverage is looking fantastic at the moment. The Cloud Drake up, and you can see Secret heading towards that. Is this going to be a sneaky Baron claim? No, it's not. It's just going to be simply clearing the waves as best they can.
It's going to be a dragon take with absolutely no contest. They have that constant mid lane priority. I know that people often talk about mid lane inhibitor power being one of the least valuable ones in terms of, you know, where it creates pressure on the map. But what I would say is having permanent mid lane priority gives you complete free access to the river. So you are going to be setting up for objectives much better than anyone else. It also gives you the time to be the one first to the objective too. So mid lane inhibitor has its uses for sure, and you're obviously never going to sniff at it, are you? But clearly this is a huge win right now because we have the Baron coming up and the Elder Dragon coming up, and those are objectives that Team Secret are now going to be able to set up for comfortably every single time.
I thought Hamez was about to steal the blue buff away there. Andre tries to get involved. Chewy, the target, would be a decent target to get hold of there. Memorize sort of getting close enough, but again, it's almost like they're chasing the game effectively. Lack of ward coverage. They do have a single one in the Baron pit, which Trevor's going to now clear out, and it does give a real worry for Queso now. They have to sort of openly, blindly check this. You can see Memorized. Oh, the fact that he's on half health already means he can't go for the engage, and that's going to put a real problem for Queso now, because he's the only real shining light that they have to try and set things up, as Ibu once again tries to find himself a shot.
It's rough now for Queso because their only way back in at this point is to Memorize to get Hamez. I'm going to say it like this, to get Hamez like engages, and I think even now that is going to be one of the nails in the coffin right now, because you now have to deal with both the Baron that's being threatened, but the Fiora obviously they can't.
They can't push this. They can't push this. They've got to realize they're going to get claps around the side. They're trying to take the action. They do manage to get Tatsurii down. That is a good engage. They go gold in the mid there, and they're going to try and get it down. Hamez taken low. Don't get baited into go for Hamez once again. Trebor the target. Chewy will get picked off. Can they get themselves another? But now they've got to worry about the danger factor. They could well lose an inhibitor turret while they go for this fight. Oh, he caught Memorized. Oh, that might set both up. It will be. Trebor gets 1, 2. Can get the 3. Oh, it's absolutely disaster. As Queso just thought they had it. They hung around too long. And Trevor's GA gifts himself a triple.
I think now Andre did his best there, but they lose an inhibitor tower and they gain only a couple of kills in their favor. Still global gold spiraling in favor of Team Secret and Team Queso. Andre 5-3-1. We kind of painted him as, oh, he takes dashes out of the way of the sonic wave there. Still goes down though.
Still goes down, nothing they could do. Acolyte unable to catch him, and Trebor walks away. Swagger, as it were. And as you say, 10,000 gold differential and a Baron coming up here. Nothing that Queso can do about this one.
Okay, they're going to start the Baron. This is a good play because they have so much advantage on the map with that, especially that Baron and so the Dragon Lane permanently pushing for them with the inhibitor tower down. And I think now it's just one lane left with Azar being so strong, no one can match him. They have to commit multiple men just to try and take him down. And I think even this in the 2v1 might be risky. He's backing here.
Yeah, not falling for the bait there. Acolyte was trying to draw him out there, but memorized. I still think even with just memorized an Acolyte, even with the knockup, I don't think they could have took him down. I gotta be honest, he's so far ahead. Almost 7,000 gold over Acolyte at the moment, and you know, he's fully committed, got the full item build.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can stop him in the side lane right now. It has been, again, just another display of how split pushing can work so effectively for teams just based on the current meta as well. And I love that we're seeing Team Secret adapt so heavily to this style of play too. They've played excellently. They've been a real shining light for the Southeast Asian region. You know, given the fact that SBTC, who won that overall region, have struggling to make an impact in their group. Team Secret certainly have not. He's found another opportunity to go and act like
Oh my word, I don't think he can do a great deal about this one. There's no inhibitor turret to help him out. Ruiz is going to fall as well. I don't think there's a great deal he can do about it. They commit everything to Azar, but Azar has an answer for everything. Gets himself the triple, will finally fall, but that doesn't matter. The damage has been done. It will be the game for Team Secret, and they will take the series 2-0 as Queso fall and European hopes start to dwindle.
Excellent game by Team Secret. They definitely look like the real deal. I think Europe had a little bit to go in terms of catching up to them, but that was a brilliant game from Azar. But I just want to highlight Hamez again. I think the way he plays the map, some of his engages, the way he selects to be at any given time, he for me was an absolute beast this entire series. Obviously your two solo laners from Team Secret had an absolutely stellar performance. Tatsurii in the first game, Azar in the second. And it's great as well to see split pushing be a really effective strategy now. I think you go back 4 or 5 months, it was something that was difficult to make work in Wild Rift, but Team Secret, they are flexing. Just like DKG, they are making use of their strong solo laners and using that to full effect. Team Queso will definitely have to go back to the drawing board a little bit here before they come back to their next game. They do need to start picking up wins if they want to exit this group, but Team Secret looking strong contenders to make it through our further knockout stages to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think Azar finishing, what, 13-2 at the end there? Oh my word, incredible stuff. And I think looking at games in the future, I think we're going to be seeing fewer bans against Team Secret, sort of written down by every analyst and coach within the Horizon Cup to say that needs to go away. I mean, if you were to look towards their game, obviously with Thunder Talk, that was incredibly close, didn't quite work out for them, but oh my word, what a game overall. Team Secret showing their dominance over Team Queso. Queso, honestly, they look a bit shell-shocked. If you just saw their body language a moment ago, we know they're an emotional team. They have to pick themselves up now because they have a couple of tough games ahead of them. That was really a must-win game. Now they're going to have to look towards Sengoku and Thunder Talk and think we have to figure out how we're going to beat these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. It was a great series by Team Secret, and they should be very proud. Southeast Asia definitely looking strong.
Fantastic stuff. That's it for us today. Let's get over to the guys, though, because there's plenty more action to come.
D-Man and Scoundrel, you just finished your 5-game tango. Thank you very much. Great job on the day, fellas. Back here with Iraqi and Riku, and we want to get right into our Oppo player of the series. It's the man that popped off in Game 2, Azar, going huge here, Iraqi.
Yeah, holy moly, Azar absolutely smurfed that game. For a player who's been a little here and there in his performance, I feel like a game like this, one that can now boost your confidence, can literally be the only difference needed for that consistency that we expected from him coming into the tournament. And it could be what he will need to carry this type of performance forward, helping Team Secret's chances in the Horizon Cup.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Azar has been playing out of his mind here. Mechanically peaked in this game and able to take 1v3s, 1v2s, no problem. I mean, at one point he was, 10-1-0 at the 14-minute mark. And just as Scoundrel has mentioned, he had no assists, so all of his kills are his kills alone. And this isn't only affecting the in-game state, but also building, a little bit of that frustration over from Team Queso as not being able to secure a kill on Azar. He's just so slippery, even being able to buy that proto belt just to create more outplays in that game.
Yeah, well, this whole series was such a mic drop there. You got to see it from the players. Great stuff here by Team Secret. Now, if we reel it back a little bit, this series had a lot of draft things and draft differences that we had to make here. And Araki, you wanted to point out one of those things, and it was the response to Fiora that it seemed like Team Queso didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're talking a lot about draft, but between teams close and skill like these two, it really does matter. So Acolyte was really pinched in his champion pool in the draft after the Renekton was banned and the Fiora was first picked. Then on top of it, Team Secret took away one of the better weak side top laners that can match Fiora in the Gragas. So Acolyte was left a little bit on an island. Malphite could have been a really good choice to kind of just play safe and not die so much, but I'm not sure if he plays it and decided to default back to the Darius, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, we've seen Acolyte pop off over towards the Darius, but yeah, this was definitely a tough matchup, just as you mentioned. I want to, commend Team Queso as well with the other parts of the draft, which, it looked really good on paper. Rakan, Diana, grand entrance into the Moonfall. And you also have the Varus paired with the Darius, so you got a lot of poke to whittle down the HP bars and just get that Noxing Guillotine on the board. But yeah, Team Secret just exploded. Azar just exploded, and just a phenomenal performance overall.
I do think Team Secret were really five-head with their drafts in this game. I mean, even the Rakan pick, once you've established that it's a really big pariah for your own support, the enemy team has to figure out a way to deal with it, and Queso decided to take it away. But then Team Secret have the answer, which is Gragas. In lane, Gragas denies Rakan to play aggro at all because he can just position well and then body slam. So I think all in all, Team Secret definitely came in looking very different, have a very good understanding of how to play side lane pressure, probably looked at a lot of the Chinese teams bot, like we said earlier, and then on top of it, their draft strategy was top-notch.
Yeah, and if we zoom out a little bit on this Team Secret squad, you've had multiple players have games to remember. Trebor on the Lee Sin earlier, Tatsurii on the Katarina, and then Azar here going huge. Hamez on multiple different supports now. So this Team Secret squad, no matter how the rest of the tourney ends up, they can be proud of how they've played so far in multiple different facets. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at one last thing before we close things out here. Team Queso, how do they rebound real quick, Araki Zoro?
So I still think they're fine. They are doing well within the group, but they just need to focus ahead because their chances of coming out as the third seed at the least is looking pretty well. So I think they need to figure out some more picks for Acolyte in particular. They don't want to run into the situation where he gets pinched in the champion pool again because he is a big win condition for them. And if they do that, I do think, yeah, they can definitely perform.
All right. Well, hey, brother, you are done for the day. Any final dance moves as we say goodbye?
Nah, I'm good. That was plenty excitement. Yeah, that was plenty excitement from that series. So.
All right. Hey, thank you, brother. TSM and Roster is next, and according to TSM's Mikey, the Brazilians know Koreans well and are confident in heading into the match.
We thought DKG and KT were the favorites for the whole championship, so coming into today we definitely expected them to be one of the strongest teams. Even now that we are 1-1, we're really confident that we'll make it out of groups, and make history for Brazil.
And we coming in now, nice kick from Tennis, sets up for his jungler and his first blood for TSM.
Very, very impressive start to this game from TSM.
Roasted Y is one of our Scream friends. We always have a good time when we're training with them. We chat with them in the lobby and we discuss stuff. So we are preparing for them, and we think we're also capable of beating them, obviously. Before I came into the Horizon Cup, I didn't even know what I was going to do with my life. I was hating college, and all I wanted to do was find something else to do. And then Wild Rift just dropped in the App Store, and I was like, yeah, this is it.